You can't be. But you're... Zach Grimeri? Yes, the reincarnation act of the century. Pity I only have an audience of one. You. Zach Grimeri? This must be a bad dream. In a sense, this guy's ruined my life. You there! Da! She's back! We will play soon. Ready the room. Da! I'll be preparing the hideout for you. Are you really him? The Zach Grimeri? Now I am Shady Smith. Remember this. How many years has it been now? 6? In exactly 3 days now, it will be 7. It caused you so much inconvenience, I fear. Yeah, you could say that. Is she well? Trucy, I mean. She's fine. I've got her working already. Hope you don't mind. I hardly need to express my gratitude, but you have it. This is why I have come. That and to settle a matter of cards. By which you mean poker. Guys, he's serious. I despise losing above all else. And so, I have decided that I will win tonight, no matter what it takes. You know this guy's type, they're dangerous. Everything's about the competition, all else is secondary. Perhaps we should take this time to talk, before we play. I know you have much to ask me. And I, you. We competed that day 7 years ago, too. The Russian fail. Da! The Russian. He is back. Oh yes, you must have been surprised. Called the detention center out of the blue. 2. 1. Showdown time. I lost. It's only a game of poker. A game I played for a long time, and only lost twice. Who was the first? The man I killed, of course. You chose your defense attorneys by playing poker. Some are hired, others are fired. When you compete, you see a man's true nature. You know what I speak of. I know that you do. Trucy's power? Trucy. She's in a class of her own. For 7 years I've played poker here at the Borscht Bowl Club, and I've never lost once. I'm good, but not that good. I win because whenever there's a big game, I bring in Trucy. And she sends me signals. Daddy, he's got a good hand. You might have a chance if you act quick. Better call him soon. Can you tell me what her power is? Judging a person's thought by reading their reactions is a staple of performance magic. But those of Trucy's line possess far greater skill. Her line? Recall, you were the second man to whom I've lost. Magnified Grimeri. That was the first time I learned of this power, as you call it. Wait, so you're saying her power is genetic? It's just in the Grimeri blood or something? Blood. I'm sorry, but it is not something told lightly to outsiders. And it is nothing you need to know at this time. Kind of Grimeri's secret then. Fine. About Trucy. He's 15 this year. She's still trying her best to follow in your footsteps, you know. See. When I planned my disappearing act, it was the thought of her alone that gave me pause. Wait, you were planning on vanishing from the get-go? Yes, and for that I must apologize. However, I could not be found guilty that day. Because of this. This. A transferal of rights. You see the signature? Transferal. That's Magnified Grimeri's signature, isn't it? I hereby give all rights and to the secret staging and performance of my magic to the recipient named below. And the recipient's name is you, Zach Grimeri. Yes, it is I. Wait, this page looks torn. You recall the diary, yes? First, take a close look at this diary. Note that a page has been clearly ripped out. As it just so happens, I have here what I believe to be the missing page. Wait, let me see that. How could I forget? That scrap of paper lost me my attorney's badge. This is the real page that was torn from that book. Magnify gave it to me that night. You could have told me this earlier, like 7 years earlier. Once again, I must apologize. It was all I could do to prepare for my escape from the courtroom. The greatest of Magnify's illusions are our true art. As such, they are well protected by this document. Only its bearer might perform his illusions on stage. Sounds like a pretty important thing to have if you're a disciple. As the rightful heir to his art, I too wanted the rightful heir. Rightful. I'm sure you know who I chose as my successor. Your daughter. That is why I've risked all to come here tonight. Crucial. Yes. Ah, here you go. What's this? A letter passing me the rights I have inherited to the Rue Trucy. I would have you sign here as a witness. But I'm not a lawyer anymore. I need a public notary besides. I may not look it, but I'm a certified notary. You are. By day I wear a notary's glasses and hunt for news. Also by day I wear reporter's glasses and notarize. But when I take off the glasses, I can't see very well. Oh god. Your signature, please. This is the first reason I have come here tonight. Ah, I finally figured it out. Now I know why you've come out of hiding only now. It's been 7 years, you said. Precisely. There's a law that covers your situation. After 7 years, missing persons are considered to be legally deceased. So if someone was to vanish from the face of the earth 7 years ago, they would lose all rights to his living person after 7 years from that day. Not to mention all their possessions. Exactly. Which is why I'm here. I risk showing my face in public for the sake of this document. Before my 7 years are up, you might say, I am securing my daughter's inheritance. But do you really need this document? Wouldn't Trucy inherit your estate automatically? Not in this case, I'm afraid. This case? I received the performance rights from Magnify Graberry. However, this was done in secret, without witness. Before Magnify died, 2 potential successors to his repertoire were named. Myself, Zach Gramerry, and Valiant Gramerry. Not Trucy. I see, so you do need this document. I have known Bruchel since before I vanished. He is a man I trust. Now, only 3 know of my birth. I took the liberty of looking into Trucy's background, and found you had no other close kin. It is as you say. Okay. I was kind of hoping he'd say something about the mother at this point. I know everyone else, but Trucy's mother is a mystery. We might as well present it. This person in this photo is Trucy's mother? How did you come by this? Trucy showed it to me. She said her mother was gone. Then, it is so. Huh? She is gone. What more is there to say? Lots. Ah, I know. Whoa, you're still here? According to my in-depth research, Trucy's mother magnified Gramerry's only daughter. End quote. What? Magnify's daughter? Is that true, Mr. Zack? Crucial. You say too much. Ugh. What am I here? Why am I the bad guy? Why? Zack decked him. In any case, Mr. Wright, this discussion is over. The last of Gramerry. She's the most mysterious of the whole lot. I need to gather more evidence, clearly. Well, the prelude may have been longer than the main attraction. Shall we begin our game? My final competition? Final? Why? As you said, I have come out of hiding today and make this document legally binding. Once that is done, I shall slip once more underground. without seeing your daughter? It would be best if I did not. 7 years ago we played. 7 years ago, I lost. I already lost to Magnify. I do not care to lose to another. And I have heard that you never lose. It's just a rumor. Yes, for it is impossible to never lose, unless one has an ace up one's sleeve. As a magician, it causes me no end of irritation. To think a mere lawyer might be out there pulling the wool over so many eyes. I just signed your document for you. Maybe you could try lightening up? That was that. This is this. For my final competition, I will destroy your perfect record, Phoenix Wright. This will be my final performance. You are warned. This guy's beyond serious. So much for a fun evening of cards. Crucial, you may leave. Ah, but it's your last game. I mean, what a scoop. I punch and I punch, but still, it is not enough. I just remembered a future prior engagement. Toodles, gentlemen. Oh, and nice meeting you too, Piano Man. Let us begin. Healer. You will be our witness to our competition.
It is honor for me.
Why haven't I seen her around here before? Ah, that reminds me. I saw a familiar face as I entered this restaurant. He did not seem to notice me, however. Gavin, I believe was his name. You know him? After a fashion. Listen, Phoenix Wright. One can learn much from a true competition. Remember this. The Gramarye power. I was close to understanding it, but I needed more. And I knew where to get it. Trucy's mother. I'd need to meet that reporter again, that was clear. And one other thing. From the moment my final competition with Zack began that night, a name was running through my head. The name of a man now in prison. A name Zack Gramarye knew, but how? Why? Solitary Cell 13. Okay, I'm gonna BRB. My mouth is getting dry. Gotta talk longer. So yeah, hold on. I have returned with a drink. Okay. Solitary Cell 13. We'll talk to Kristoff, I guess. I mean, I can't imagine anyone else being here. Just as I thought. I'll turn the BRB off. Well, well, isn't this an unexpected surprise? What errand brings you down to my cramped confines? Gavin. Is this your idea of revenge, Phoenix Wright? Revenge for the events that took away your Hermes badge 7 years ago? My past is like my logic, straight and true. Nothing's changed. All I did was point the finger of justice in the proper direction. Fine. I'm glad we could have this little ta-ta. Right? You look well, Phoenix Wright. You too, Gavin. Life has been full of surprises for both of us. I've no doubt you never expected to lose that attorney's badge of yours. And I'll bet you've never expected here to wind up here. Shady Smith was the name of the man you killed. Did you know who he really was? Who he was? Zach Grimeri, you know, the defendant. I remember him, of course. What, you say Smith was Zach? Impossible. Don't even try to tell me it was a coincidence. What did I just say? Life is full of surprises. Don't you think? After that trial, you were arrested and found guilty, but your motive was never made clear. A mistake I plan to remedy. You're not an attorney anymore, Phoenix Wright. What possible conclusion do you think this investigation of yours can lead to? I killed a man named Smith with a bottle because I am an evil human being. Isn't that enough? Not for me, it isn't. I need to know why you did it, Gavin. You recall the case 7 years ago? Ah, yes. The trial where Zach Grimeri pulled his famous vanishing act. My brother won his fair share of praise and adoration for that trial, I recall. Genius prosecutor reveals crooked attorney, was it? That was when I met you, wasn't it? Was it now? The Bar Association voted unanimously for the strictest punishment. Unanimous. Save for one dissenting opinion, yours. It was my brother who was responsible for putting you in that position after all. For 7 years we've been friends. And yet, I still don't understand you. But right, your friendship toward me was never pure. You suspected me, then, as you still do now, don't you? Honestly, right now, I'm not sure what to think. But why did you kill him? You didn't just brain a guy out of the juice bottle for no reason. Tell me why you did it. Persistent, are you? I came here because I remembered something. The night of our game. Zach Grimeri mentioned your name, Gavin. Ah, that reminds me. I saw a familiar face as I entered this restaurant. He did not seem to notice me, however. Gavin, I believe was his name. After that, he was killed, and I asked you to help me. Because I remembered your kindness back when everyone had turned on me. I seem in a bit of trouble. Something like that. Dead. Someone hit him. Hard. Me? Please. The cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands, should it come to that. I have to know. Why did you kill Shady Smith? No. Zach Grimeri. Never seen Cyclops like these. Dark, cold, full of despair. Can I even unlock these things? Something wrong, right? No, it's nothing. You shouldn't push yourself so hard. Life is to be taken easy, you know. This is Blind. I never played it before, but I'm good at Phoenix Wright. I just had to get my groove on it with the game earlier on. It's doing its nails. Hey, what's that? That envelope's been bothering me since I came here. It's not nice to peek at other people's mail. You get mail here in jail? That I do, though they read it first, apparently. Still, I am allowed the pleasure of correspondence. Packages and the like are the different matter, however. Looks like sneaking a peek is out of the question. Nail polish. You're thinking what self-respecting man would use nail polish? Not really, I know appearances aren't a big thing with you. You know what I say? One cannot live a beautiful life without a beautiful nails. First rate in all things, but nothing less. That certainly does look like first-rate nail polish. I like the sparkly bottle. It's crystal. If you're so drawn to it, please have one. It's on me. Nail polish slipped in the pocket. That nail polish looks very familiar. Gavin? Give that to Vera? Why would he do that? Okay. Anything else we can do here? No. Okay, but Vera. 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 7 years ago, Drew Studio. I figured you'd come here sooner or later. I decided on sooner. Drew Misham, was it? I haven't done anything illegal. And I didn't come here to whine about past events. I wanted to ask you some questions. I suppose you have that right. That day, the entire court descended into chaos. Only you stood still, your eyes calmly watching. I admit it, I made quite an impression on me. I'm used to finding myself in outrageous situations. Oh man, I can't read. Phoenix Wright, was it? I'll answer what I can. Not sure, but feels like I'm being watched intensely. Ah, this is my daughter. Vera, say hello. Nail biting. Nail biting? Gone. Shall we begin then? Wanted to move my window real quick. Judging from this place, you're a painter? Not, sadly, a profitable one. I've never sold a painting. It's a source of considerable embarrassment. I would be able to get by were it only me. Your daughter? Her mother grew weary of me and left. I don't want her to grow up needy, Mr. Wright. This is why I began my other occupation. Forgeries. Don't look at me with those eyes. I know what it is that I do. More than half of the paintings they bring me are stolen. And who knows what my copies are used for. But some of your works aren't even paintings, correct? You may not believe me when I tell you this, but that was my first work outside painting. What? To think it would be used as evidence in a murder trial. I never even imagined the possibility. Why did you take the job? I was well paid. Very well paid. I think he feels worse about it than I do. Past is hard to escape. Honestly, the sooner I can put this behind me, the better. With apologies to you, of course. Sorry, but it's not going to be quite so easy. I'm trying to forget what he made. So I'll have to remind him. You better give it to him. Your work. Don't try to pretend you've forgotten. Sure, all you did was make a copy. But that copy might have destroyed the life of an innocent man. I'm responsible too, which is why I have to know. And you have to tell me. I knew it would be difficult to escape this. Then let's talk. Magnifies diary. Well then, ready to tell me about this work you did? It was unlike anything that I had attempted before. I guess it would be a little different from paintings. That is not what I mean. In all my previous work, it sufficed to create a copy. This wasn't a copy? The client gave me two things that day. The first was a sample page, as reference. The second, a printed document I can only surmise was written by my client. So you used the real writing as a reference to reproduce what the client wrote? Yes, as I said, it was my first job of that nature. So, who was your client? As I said in court, I do not know. Really? Even for such a suspicious request? Even if it was me, I would want to know as much as I could about the requester. I never met them. Not personally, Ah, Cyclock, of course. Seems like you're still hiding something. Something about this work. Let's take a look. You're hiding something. Let's hear it then. Oh, I missed this song. What are you hiding from Mr. Misham? I'm sorry, but you really don't know. I really don't know. I never met the client. True. When I asked the client's name, there were no Cyclops in sight. Regardless, you're hiding something. You have to be, otherwise, it wouldn't make any sense. Why are you doing this to me? Well, I've made my stand. No backing down now. So what's Misham hiding? He's hiding Vera. I could pretty much piece together what it is, what you've said. What is it then? You told me that you knew about the client, and I couldn't see any Cyclops. Cyclocks? Is that some kind of asylum security or new hairstyle, perhaps? But then they did show up, didn't they? Who was your client? As I said in court, I do not know. Really? Even for such a suspicious request? It was me. I'd want to know as much as I could about the requester. I never met the... Not personally, Not personally. Those words triggered the Cyclops. Again with the Cyclocks. Now I must know what they are. So you didn't meet with the client, but someone else did. Maybe the real forger behind this evidence? Perhaps I'm hung up on this lock business, but I'm afraid you've lost me. Yeah, well, I didn't come here to talk about Cyclops. As long as I come to the right conclusion, it doesn't matter how I got there. And your conclusion is? The real forger behind this isn't you, Miss Shan. Poppycock. I don't know what you're talking about. That's my work, I tell you. Made here in my studio. Who else could have been but me? That's the real question, isn't it? If the forger wasn't you, then I don't have many other people to choose from. The real forger at Drew Studio is... Vera Misham. The real forger is your daughter, Vera Misham, isn't it? Ridiculous. My daughter's only 12 years old, Mr. Wright. I've always been one for landscapes, not surrealism. Oh, that's not right. Nice comeback, but you're shaking in your boots. Got you now. The only two people with access to this studio are you and your daughter. The Cyclops tell me you're not the forger. Makes your daughter the only possibility. I feel very much on the verge of going psycho-lock myself. Yay! Magnify's diary. I don't know how you do, but you're right. The one who made this page was my daughter Vera, no tie. She's only 12, a genius you might call her. A precocious little girl, outshining her father. There's been a lot of that going around recently. I let her play in the studio, and she watched me. She taught herself in that way. The drafting tools and analytical devices I bought when they became necessary. They're my little girl's playthings now. Do I detect a little bit of fatherly pride? So Vera is the one who made this page. Would she know who the client was then? Actually, the client came once. Here to the studio. What? Why didn't you say so sooner? But their face was covered, and they did not want to talk to me. So they talked to your daughter? I will speak only with the artist, the client told me. That little girl might know something about him. Okay, what do I do now? Maybe I should talk to her father a bit more. Or is it time to turn my attention to Vera? Let's talk to Vera. Mr. Misham, I have a request. Let me guess. You'd like to speak with my daughter. Can I? My daughter has never been one to talk to strangers. She's quite shy. Extremely so, actually. With only one exception. Which was, oddly enough, it was that client. I left the studio while they talked. I returned when they had finished, and she was laughing. It was the first time I'd seen anything of the sort. Please let me speak with her. All right. Vera loves the Grimaries. Uh-oh. Be tough. Vera. Vera, was it? Would you like to have a friendly chat? I'm Phoenix Wright, ex-lawyer and pianist. I'm still looking for the keys that say do, re, mi. Can't find them anywhere. I'm not good at this. I need something to get through to this girl. Vera, was it? Oh. Okay, same. Present, I guess? What do you think about this? Made her nervous. Nail polish! Okay. Transfer of rights. Oh. The brute force method. Notebook. You recognize this woman? She's a Grimary. Mr. Hat! Aw. Stage pistol. Okay, I don't think we're gonna be getting out of this then. The detention center, maybe? Blackmail. The trick up his sleeve. I'm flying by the seat of my pants on this one. There must be a path leading from the evidence to the truth. And that's what I'm going to find. To ask someone to take a life, even one not for long for this world, that's asking someone to commit murder. Yes, our mentor was fond of dramatic moves, and dramatic finales. And he got his wish. His life was taken. What weakness could be so powerful as to coerce someone into committing murder? My guess it was a matter of life or death. Care to explain? Your troupe lived in a world of showmanship. The flashier, the better. And flashy so often means danger, doesn't it? Let us make this as painless as possible. If you have proof of this danger, then show it. I'm not sure, actually. Yeah, I don't wanna risk this. Maybe we can go back to the future. Don't sue me. Nope. Nothing here. There has to be something in the detention center or Drew Studio. Back to the studio. Let's take a look at everything. Ah, going home by any chance? No, I was just checking out the door. Oh. I think I'm far too stoned to take hits like that. What's this painting here? Ah, that's one of mine. It's an illustration for a book. It's not on sale yet, of course, but I thought it might make a good business. As a father, I'd like to be able to put food on my daughter's table. Not a feeling I know anything about yet. At least not yet. Paints are scattered all around, probably the ones he's currently using. Something very artistic about a messy room. Not that this is anything compared to my office. I guess that would make my office a masterpiece. Light table. Those aren't for painting. They're for analyzing. Paint composition, age, every conceivable angle. Tools of the forgery trade, I guess. Maybe I just leave the lawn over here for a closer look. The poison stamp! That's an awfully small frame. What's that inside it? Ah, please don't touch that. I'll get in trouble. That stamp belongs to Vera, you see. She always puts it somewhere she can see it. That's Zack and Valen. And it's the Grimaries, isn't it? The post office issued their commemorative stamp last year, and the Grimaries were at the height of their popularity. Not anymore. Now that one of them has vanished off the face of the earth. Vera wanted to see one of their shows when she was quite small. She's been a dedicated fan ever since. She watched them every time they came on TV until the end. See, that stamp's quite hard to come by, I hear. I still wonder how she got her hands on it. I want to look at it. We've never seen the actual poison stamp. That's a pretty bottle. Ah, don't touch that, please. I'll get in trouble. It belongs to Vera, you see. She always puts it somewhere she can see it. The light pink fluid inside. Nail polish, I'm guessing. Light pink. Light pink? Oh my. Is that light pink on here? Is it supposed to be representing that there's poison? The red envelope. This is red envelope. Ah, don't touch that. That's quite important. The painter's face just changing hues. Guess I'd better behave, though it's tempting to just grab it. This is you and Vera? Yes. Yes, we took that one quite recently. I know, I'm a painter. Why not paint a portrait instead? I've never been good at people, unfortunately. Ah, right. Shouldn't you practice? What is this glowing green? Oh yeah, it's a thing back there. Uses gizmos for painting? Oh, we read this. There's some finished paintings stacked here. They don't look at all that bad, really. I'll sell you one for 50 cents. That's okay, they look kind of heavy. Oh. Maybe he needs to work on his sales technique a bit. The artist's struggle is real. It's embarrassing, but I can't afford all the paints I want. I insist on buying the ones I use with my own money. I can see how you'd want to do that, sure. Perhaps you've heard of that you can make any color, as long as you had the 3 primary colors? Well, it's a lie. Poor guy. are some colors you just can't make with 3 primaries. We have a Grimary stamp. That'll get her talking. And then there's this. My stamp. Hey, she spoke. She can talk. Yeah, so this stamp. How can I keep her talking? Great magicians, aren't they? Isn't the true Grimary amazing? Yes? Oh. I especially like these two, Zack and Valent. I mean, they're, just so magical! Aren't they? Aren't they? Yeah, whenever I go to one of their shows, I'm like, whoa, magic! You know? Me too, I love them, they're so cool! It's like magic, yeah! Alright, she's talking! Not saying much, but it's a start! I went and saw them with Father the other day. The opening ceremony at the Grimary Museum of Magic. The Grimary Museum? They have one of those! I guess it makes sense now that they have their own commemorative stamp. So if you've been to one of their shows? Just once, when I was little, with Father.
The Grimary's on stage. It was like a dream. Disappearing, reappearing, cutting apart, putting back together. They do it all.
Yeah, maybe you can keep telling me stuff like this.
You know, about Zack and Valent, maybe? Oh, sure.
Alright, better get asking before she changes her mind.
I don't go outside much. I like to paint in here.
Why don't you like it outside?
There's bad people out there.
Well, true, but there's lots of good people too. Actually, I should tell you. She was almost kidnapped once. Kidnapped? Since then, she's been, well, you could see for herself. She refuses to leave the house. I see. Wait, that doesn't make sense. She said she went to the Grimary Museum. With you, in fact. Ah, yes, actually. She was quite insistent on it, much to my surprise. That was the first and last time she expressed such a desire to me.
That person gave me a good luck charm.
A good luck charm?
When I absolutely had to go outside.
Yes, apparently, she received something. A gift. From that client, actually. She won't tell me what it was.
Father, I told you to keep that a secret.
From that client, huh? I have to hear about this. So, your father tells me you're good at painting all sorts of things.
I really like painting, a lot. Father's always really happy when I paint them exactly the same.
So you did this too?
Oh yes, that was my first job.
Your first?
All I used to do was paint the same thing I saw. But this was totally different. The pen slips all the way, and the way the writer held the pen, the pressure on the nib, I had to use a microscope and analyze it on the computer.
She seems happy. Odd, her work has the last nail in the Grimary convent. I guess no one told her.
Troop Grimary stamp. They're the best in the world.
Oh, you mean the Troop Grimary? Yeah, of course.
Father gave it to me.
Your father?
I asked him about it.
He didn't know how you got it.
Oh. I guess took it. Yeah.
Took it?
Father got a letter from that person.
That person? You mean that letter was from the client?
Oh, we talked about the Grimaries forever that day. I'm sure that's why I was sent the stamp. I didn't want to just send it back, so I took it.
They're a sneaky one, this client. So they're trying to get on her good side. So, you met the person that asked you to do this job? And you talked with them? What's this about a good luck charm you received?
I can't talk about it.
Huh?
If I do, it won't work anymore. That's what I was told.
Yeah, but I really, really have to know. Right, time to do some psych unlocking. I think it's the nail polish. Client. You seem to trust this client. Quite a lot, in fact. Because they gave you this stamp?
No, that's not why. They listened to me. To my problem.
The problem? That keeps her inside all the time?
Don't go outside if you don't want to. That's what they told me. But when I absolutely have to go out, all I had to do was use my good luck charm.
A good luck charm? That your client gave you? I think I know what your client might have given you, actually. Is this your good luck charm? This was what they gave you, wasn't it? Huh. The same bottle's over there on your desk. Your good luck charm, right?
I heard once. Cosmetics were once thought to ward off evil. This is a magic bottle. It has the power.
Ah, of course it does. I'll just refrain on commenting any more on that one. I think I know who gave you that bottle, actually. The one who asked you to do this job. Was this the client? Oh man, I don't actually know. Is it Kristoff? Let me save my game. Yes. The save feature doesn't actually work in this game with this emulator. So I have to do save states. Was it Magnify himself? No. This man is a friend of mine. Know him? Was Kristoff. His name is Kristoff Gavin. He's the lawyer, actually.
I promised. Promised not to tell.
Unlock successful.
I'm sorry, I can't talk about the client. I promised. If I break my promise, the spell won't work.
I don't need a name anymore. I've got my answer. You're pretty confident in this charm, then. I think they might be the devil.
Huh? Or maybe an angel.
What do you mean?
I saw it. Or I think I saw it. When they gave me this, I saw the devil's face.
Are you saying the client's face looked like the devil's?
No, the client was gentle, with a gentle smile.
So where'd you see this devil, then?
It was so quick. I don't remember well. But that's when I knew. That person wasn't like other people. That's why I believe in my good luck charm.
I'm not sure what this devil she saw was, but it's pretty clear that Kristoff Gavin has her charmed. Well, I think that's all. I'll be leaving now. I'm sorry for what happened. I want to apologize, try to my client, Zach Grimeri.
Did I do something bad?
What makes you think that?
Your eyes. Sad. Very sad.
I'll put on my smile next time I come, promise. I hope to see you smile then too, Vera.
Okay.
Take care. Thinking back on my first encounter with the young forger, I witnessed something of vital importance that day. Of course, by the time I realized it, it was already too late. Bites her nails a lot. Let's go yell at Kristoff a bit. That reminds me. I saw a familiar face as I entered this restaurant. He did not seem to notice me, however. Gavin, I believe his name was. I seem to be in a bit of trouble. Something like that. Dead. Someone hit him. Hard. Please. Car should be here any minute. I'll be in your hands. Should have come to that. have to know. Why did you kill Shady Smith? No. Zach Grameyer. Oh. Black Cyclops. Something wrong, right? I guess I can't. My only choice is to blackmail. Danger, 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 danger. I can't afford to do this wrong. Screw it, let's go with the gun. What? That's one of ours. Specially designed for your show, I gather. A single bullet, one shot. What are you suggesting? We are magicians, Mr. Wright, not murderers. I'm not crying murder, Mr. Valent. I'm crying something far more tragic. An accident. Zack and Valent's quick draw shoot him. How long has it been since those shots were last heard? Was the shoot 'em cancelled because someone might get hurt? Of course, what other reason could there be? Well, it could have been cancelled because someone had already been hurt. Fascinating, my Faustian forging Fred. What can you prove with a single pistol? But tell me what would have happened if there had been an accident. What if one of your bullets took a life on stage? The performance of magic is not concerned with what ifs. It is concerned with precision. Precisely whom do you claim to be shot? But that's Zach Gramery's wife, and Trucy's mother. Thalassa, I believe was her name. Alakazam. But how could you even say this? How can you even say she was struck by one of our bullets? Still in denial mode, huh?
She was at the greatest risk of being shot. And it's clear this shows how much danger she was in. The Troop Gramery's performances were very, very popular. So popular they even made a commemorative stamp at the height of your fame. We were not merely the latest craze, we were an age. A golden age. It's all here on this stamp. There's Thalassa, yes? Trucy's mother is missing, I hear. What happened to her?
I don't know.
A part of his memory is still locked up. There's one thing you're failing to address. What's that? As you say, our troop was onto a world unto itself. Our leader, Magnify, was so inclined he could hide anything he wished with ease. But Mr. Wright, then he would have to have hid a crime, making him an accomplice. Not a great foundation for blackmail. Valent's got a point. If one of the troop members died in an accident and Magnify covered it up, his innocence would come into question. Found the right address, Mr. Wright?
I'm so close. There has to be something about how Thalassa's death could affect Zack and Valent's relationship with Magnify. I see in your eyes you still have something to say. How can you possibly prove more than you already have? I'll prove why Thalassa's hand... I think it's with a person. It's gonna take a little knowledge of the players to crack this one. The accidental death of Zack's wife tied both your hands. And this information proves why Magnify held so much power over you. It wasn't a question of who shot Thalassa. Thalassa herself was the problem. What do you mean? She was Zack Grimary's wife, Trucy's mother, and Magnify Grimary's only daughter. It was a terrible accident, and the two of you killed your mentor's only daughter. It wasn't the key to Magnify's power over you. I don't know what was. It was an accident. But she didn't die though. It was a joke. There's no proof, none at all. But Thalassa went missing, and your mentor blackmailed both of his disciples. It doesn't take a genius to put one and one together. Ours was a complex family. You mean Troop Grimary? Master Magnify Grimary, his only daughter, and his two disciples. That does sound like a recipe for disaster, doesn't it? Do not be tempted by faulty flights of fancy. Yes, there was an accident, but that is all it was, an accident. Zack and Valent's tour de force. The guns blaze, the bullets fly, straight towards that beautiful body on stage. And then crash, zing pow, into everything but her. And that is magic. It happened one day when we were practicing. Same trick, with a new twist. And tragedy. But as for whose bullets stole Thalassa's life, we shall never know the answer. Thalassa disappeared from our lives and Zack was bereft his wife. Trucy lost her mother, and Magnify, his daughter. And that led to blackmail, I take it. It is all part and parcel of the darkness that comes with the curtain falls. Why did Magnify Grimary try to cover up the accident? It was his own daughter who died. All I can say is it was a critical time for Troop Grimary. Passing of the torch from Magnify to Zack and Valent. They all sacrificed so that it might be a success. Thalassa's death was the greatest sacrifice of all. Yet, even when her life was extinguished, her presence was not. What do you mean? In time, myself and Zack, found we could no longer oppose Magnify's wishes. Magnify forced us to perform his art, for his benefit. Let's see, I guess I can understand. I mean, he did lose his only daughter. But do you not find cowardice in his actions? No? To decide to hide the truth of your own daughter's death is one thing, but then to hang that death as a guillotine above our heads? Things were dark behind the scenes in Troop Grimary, that's for sure. Does Trucy know? She was not told, naturally. Who would want to know that their father might have taken their mother's life? True. I had not thought of that accident for a very long time. I'm sorry to dredge up an old memory, but this has helped a lot. Not to find Magnify's slayer, I should think. True. After that accident, there was one who came sniffling, quite persistently. A reporter? He called himself a newsman at the time. Often I spied him lurking around the dressing room, doing his research. Would you happen to remember his name? What was his name? Sorry, I have forgotten. But in the course of interviewing, he became quite close to my partner, Zack. I liked him not. His name I do not recall, but his scent, the cloying aroma of mint. Yes, whenever he smiled, which was far too often. Yes, thank you for your help. Does no good interfere with the past, Mr. Wright. You will not uncover answers, only wounds. I'm sorry. I had begun to notice a dark curtain hanging over Troop Grimary, and I began to realize what I had to do. I had to protect Trucy from that darkness. The reporter he mentioned, the newsman, I never learned who that was at the time, though I've got a pretty good idea who it is now. smile. The sickly sweet smell of smint. The last floss thin thread connecting Zach Grimeri to the world. Sooner or later, I'd have to track him down. Hey, Minnie. We are so close to the end of the game. I feel it. All we have left could possibly be Drew Studio Future. And the Sunshine Coliseum. Oh my. Good, Drew Studio. Present day Drew Studio.
Hey? Well, what do we have here? Remember me? Of course I remember you. Journalist meets ex-attorney in bar, end quote. Can I ask what you're doing here?
Mr. Measham was poisoned and his daughters.
Oh yes, I know. How I know, yes. It's cause it caused me no end of grief, to be honest. Journalist wishes he'd track down case just a little quicker. End quote.
Were you on the trial at the case the whole time?
Zach Grimeri was a good friend.
Zach said something to that effect at the Borscht Bowl Club. What a character, that man. If a lot, extremely rough around the edges. You think I could ask you a few questions? Oh, you're serious? I mean, I'm usually the interviewer, not the interviewee. Journalist asks questions, not the other way around, end quote. Fine. Shoot, I don't care. People have been asking me all sorts of things lately. It was tragic what happened to Drew Measham and his daughter. Forgery is a serious crime, and they paid the price. Oh, man. Hold on. Need that mirror. Window. Whoops. You know what really did them in, though? Don't you? Yes, a forged diary page. The night I interviewed him, I found out something about Mr. Measham I didn't know. What's that? You know he's been watched? Every day for 7 years. Walls have ears, potatoes have eyes, end quote. Being watched, you mean he felt guilty? No, I'm not talking about feelings here. You know, I felt watched too. The whole time on this case, no less. Journalist gets tingling sensation on back of neck, freaks out, end quote. Because you felt guilty? Why would I feel guilty? You felt like you were being watched, huh? I wonder what that all means. Paranoia. Drew Measham felt like he was being watched. And you along with him. You sure it wasn't his nerves? Nerves? Hey, it's nothing so mundane. I stopped paying attention to my nerves a long time ago. But I felt it too. Journalist sure as he's being watched, end quote. Don't you wonder why Zach Grimeri got rubbed out after 7 years? Right after coming into contact with me? He completely vanishes from that courtroom. Then for 7 years talked to no one, not a soul. Then just as the remaining time was almost up, he contacts me in order to have this made. And then he dies. Starting to put the pieces together, are we? And you were being watched this whole time? Maybe not just me. Maybe you were too. Me? I met Zach through that case, actually. You mean the shooting of the Magnified Grimeri? No, before that. It's not widely known. You mean the accident? During the quick draw shoot-'em practice? My, you're well informed. You should have seen me back then. I'd dug up quite the scoop. I wanted it all. Money, fame, women, a little puppy. All for me. I was younger then, and my days and nights smelled of fresher mint than they do now. Violet Grimeri did mention one particularly nosy reporter. In fact, I was on close speaking terms with Magnified Grimeri at the time. I knew his daughter too, of course. Thalassa, was it? Really?
Then Thalassa disappeared, quite suddenly at that. And Magnify wouldn't say a word about it. Yeah, my evil parrot got the better of me. Journalist catches scent of a scoop, goes on feeding frenzy. End quote. I set up an interview on one-on-one with Thalassa's husband, see? Zach Grimeri. Something strange was in the air over at Troop Grimeri in those days. The whole screwy mentor controlling disciples scene started by then, I'm guessing. Thalassa, he was part of it all, right? Come on, you can tell me off the record.
Sorry, I don't know.
Anyway, I kept prying and eventually became friends with Zach. Sure, he punched me once or twice or 5 times, but over time he came to see me as his confidant. He's been waiting this whole time. 7 years, huh? Waiting? For his big comeback, of course. The big revival of the Magnify Miracle. Of course, it was all a dream. Because of this. The performance rights. In the absence of any official documents, he was golden. Who's to say the old man didn't give his rights to back both Zach and Valent? So Valent waited until Zach had died. Legally, at least. Time finally comes and Valent's like a kid on Christmas morning. He's getting ready for his show at the Sunshine Coliseum, you know. If that document sees that the legal light of day. He's a sorry one, that Valent Grimeri. Lost status to his partner at work, and in love to do.
Love? It's the same old story, really. 2 disciples and their mentor's only daughter. What has 3 sides and all of them pointing? A love triangle. That is pretty classic. And when you're in a performing troupe, there's your work. It's like family. One with an entire high school's worth of drama, intrigue, and backstabbing. And in the middle of this all, Thalassa has Trucy. And then she dies. I need to find out more about this Thalassa. So, you know more about Thalassa, right? Mr. Bishop, do you know this person? Do I know that person? Of course. I was friends with Zach, after all. He hit me a few times. 5 times, actually. But still, I'll never forget his wife. Thalassa Grimeri. Magnify Grimeri's only daughter. Do you think you could tell me more about her? Well, why the heck not? No, Thalassa married Zach. They had a shooting lesson. Oh, I'm yawning. I'm getting real tired. It was her second marriage, actually. You mean she was divorced? I hadn't heard this one before. Not quite. Her late husband was a performer, too. He died in an accident on stage. Tragic, really. They'd only been married for 1 year. I didn't know. Ah, but she was a beauty. I still carry a portrait photo of her around, you know. Siren? I've known Trucy since she was a little thing, too. Got the better deal, really. Got you for family, after all. What do you mean? Just reminiscing, you know. Thalassa has another child besides Trucy. End quote. What? But Trucy said she was an only child. Ah, yes. The one she said she had was with her previous husband. Her previous husband? Her first husband who died on stage? Yep, they had themselves a kid. Another orphan now. That's another one who slept through the class. No idea where they are now. You think I can borrow that photo? Sure, I could be generous on occasion, you know. What if the second child is Apollo Justice? I won't need this locket anymore. Better return it to Trucy before I forget. People and events all get tangled together, get bigger and bigger. Don't you think? I was too busy wondering about biggerer than listening to what you were actually saying. Sometimes you just gotta accept that you won't be able to untangle it at all, I think. Maybe so, but still. I have to do what I can. And I have to tell what I find to those will come next. Next, you say? I'm not one who will close the curtain on this little play. Apparently, that's not my role anymore. Magnify. I was just wondering what Magnify would think of all this. What do you mean? Haven't you seen it in Trucy? She's got his power. You mean how I can't lie to Trucy? It's the same with Magnify. And with his daughter, Thalassa. It's a strange thing. You think it's some Grammary gene? Magnify told me once, back when Zack married Thalassa. He said Zack had good eyes. But not good like Grammary's eyes. Not that good. Wonder if Zack ever played a poker game with his wife. Who knows what the Grammary secret was? The ability to perceive those minor actions, I guess. Zack Grammary. That comes to a conclusion. It sprouted from a warp in the Grammary fabric and grew, swallowing everything, wrapping itself around the Grammary's power. Power which passed from magnified Grammary to Thalassa to the next generation. And I would once again need to meet the one who bridged it all together. Horse Bowl Club. Let's pull up the Grammary secret. The Grammary secret. I have to know more about this power of Trucy's. It's like she can see right into people's minds. The first time I saw her do it, it blew mine. And after you were done having your mind blown, you took her to play cards with you. Gotta use the resources at hand, I always say. Yet I myself have no such power. But Trucy does. Why is that? Maybe Trucy got her power from her mother, Thalassa Grammary? I will not speak of that. Thalassa is officially missing, correct? And I think I know you know why you don't want to talk to her. Three of you were a team once. Not that the entire country doesn't already know this. At your peak, you were the biggest stars around. Yet there's another story behind that frame. One that not many know. Thalassa lost her life during a rehearsal. To you and Mount Grammary's bullets. It was an accident. It wasn't me. How could I shoot my dear Thalassa? I'm sure Valent would say the same thing. Why, it's just like another murder I might mention. Damn you. Her eyes. I loved Thalassa's eyes. To think they could read my mind was frightening. Yet there was a warmth in them that felt like an embrace. She is dead, and Magnified Grammary has joined her. The only one with her power left now is Trucy? Mr. Zack? I do not know. I don't need any power to see through that one, buddy. There's someone else. Someone other than Trucy. Someone who inherited Thalassa's power. How would I know? Chances are slim. It would take a miracle to learn the truth. Maybe one has already occurred. There's someone else with the power, and I know who. Apollo Justice. This boy? His name is... I forget. Something weird. Who could he be? An attorney. Attorney? I noticed him when I went to visit a friend's law offices. So what are we to make of this, oh great attorney? You can show me pictures of strange boys all you like, but you could at least say something like I'm this boy. I could use a laugh. Perhaps you wouldn't laugh if you knew the facts. This might not be 100% proof, but it's close. There's a link between this boy and Thalassa. Actually, it's more of a ring. Ring? Perhaps this will refresh your memory. I just so happen to have evidence showing the missing link. Wait. The bracelets! Actually, I know something. Your marriage to Thalassa was her second. How did you know this? Her first husband. He died a year after they were wed, yes? He was a performer. They met when he joined us Grimaries as a guest in our show. After Thalassa wed him, she left the troupe for a while. And you say she had a child then? I have a photograph of her there. I couldn't help but notice what she was wearing when I first saw this. Those bracelets stand out. Those are a Grimari family heirloom. Boy, wears a bracelet just like the ones she had in the picture. What? Oh, that's why. Why what, Mr. Zack? I took this photograph of Thalassa before she left us. When she returned, she wore only one bracelet. I bet I know where the other one went. She gave it to this boy. Her son. The Grimari secret. This strange power. I myself do not know where it comes. Yet the fact is that it is passed down through the Grimari line. It runs in their veins. What is it? I asked her, Thalassa once. This is what she told me. Her power responds to tension in others. Tension? If she were to face a person and they became tense, even slightly, then she would know, no matter how hard they tried to hide it from her. So she could see it? Not quite. This is the strangest part of it all. She wouldn't realize that she was subconsciously detecting this tension, without the use of a particular object, or in her case, objects. Objects? Wait. Were they something she wore? Yes. Her bracelets. I admit the first time I saw one of those, I felt like there was more to it than just fashion. What kind of power could just a bracelet have? I made a decision. I will tell you all you know. All I know. Consider it a gift. Well, I hardly need you to tell me at this point, but those two are brother and sister, yes. And the brother, too, has this power of theirs. Petrucci has an older brother. I wonder what'll come with that. Mr. Wright, tonight, after our game is done, I will return to a life of hiding. I would not see her live her life without knowing. I understand. I'll tell the two of them when the time is right. I am in your debt, once again. No kidding. What I want to know is how this all got to be so messed up. Those bracelets are made of some special alloy. It is said to expand and shrink very slightly in response to body warmth. So they're temperature sensitive or something? Yes. This is how they can shrink the exact size of the wearer's wrist. And this has something to do with the power? What if I told you? The Grimari power reacts to tension in others. When a Grimari senses tension, they too become tense. And this tension translates into minute contractions in the muscles. So minute they cannot sense it on their own. Their muscles? Oh, so that's what the bracelets are for. With the bracelet on, one can sense these contractions. Because the bracelet is always a perfect fit. When the person they're watching gets tense, the bracelet feels tighter on their wrist. Precisely. But that alone doesn't really count as mind reading. I believe I understand how the process works from there. A simple question of eyesight. Eyesight? I guess that sounds simple enough. Have you ever heard of kinetic vision? Something about the ability to see moving objects with full clarity, right? I've heard of it before. They say athletes can see a moving ball like it was stopped, if they focus. Oh, but it's not confined to sports alone. It all relies on the ability to focus. When we focus, we see many things. The faintest twitch of the face, and the meaning that lies behind it. Therein lies one of the secrets of magic. One must know the mind of a crowd before one may distract it. So basically what you're saying is, the Grimaires can see really well? To them, seeing is more than believing. It is knowing. Their power relies on eyesight combined with the exceptional focus. Things are starting to come into focus for me, too. Of course, it is difficult to maintain such levels of focus for any length of time. What if someone could tell you when to focus? Or something. Precisely. But wait, Trucy doesn't have any bracelets. We were talking about poker, yes? The timing of when to focus is so elementary. She probably does it without thinking. I doubt Trucy herself has realized this. That is all I know about things Grimmeri. Thank you, Mr. Zack. This boy's bracelet is the real thing, then he will use it before long, thereby awakening his power. I'll keep that in mind. Well, shall we play a game? I've said so much. Let me say one more thing. I will tell you of that night. That night? The night my mentor, Magnified Grimmeri, passed from this world to the next. There were 2 pistols and 2 letters sent. This was Magnify's test. A test? In his last years, Magnified Grimmeri worked us to the bone. No, to the pain. But that night I could not shoot him, so I shot the clown's forehead instead. This, it seems, was the correct answer. Take this. I give my art to you, Zack. What? It is thanks for playing along with my show. You shot well tonight, Zack. Though I would not have minded dying by your hand. How could I shoot you? You're my mentor. Ah, I thought you might say that. If I went home without shooting anything, what would you have done then? Then of course I would have given Valant his chance. And if I had shot you in the forehead instead, then it would have been over. If you or Valant were to shoot me in the head, then I to the darkness would go and my art with me. A fitting end, don't you think? Yet this ending too gives me no cause for regret. I thank you, Zack. And I am sorry. I have let down much that I was wrong that day. In my day. It seems to me that Magnify wanted you to become his successor all along. That's why the time he gave you was earlier than Valant's. Perhaps, but it is not something we will ever know for sure now. I wonder, what is Valant up to these days? Waiting for you to die. It is if 7 years passes like this, the performance goes right to him. Ah. Now here I am, and his dream is ended. It's worse than that, actually. Public opinion's a fickle thing, you know? What? You don't mean to tell me they put the blame on our mentor's death on him? The trial ended when you vanished, Mr. Zack. There were even rumors that Valant had helped you pull it off. But that's madness! Oh, it seems that before I can once again disappear from this world, I have one more act to perform. Isn't it odd that sorting out my life should prove so complicated, even though I'm dead? That night, Zack Grimmeri was killed. He died as Shady Smith, a mysterious traveler with a secret past. But he left one thing behind before he passed. This. His confession, to use as I saw fit. Of course, he'd killed no one. This was a way of tying up loose ends with his partner, Valant Grimmeri. I don't think we can do anything more with Gavin, so as we'll go to the Coliseum. Who's gonna be there? Probably Valant, right? Present day, Sunshine Coliseum. Well, this is a blast from the distant past. 7 years has it been? Frankly, I didn't think I'd ever see you again. Actually, I came because there's something I wanted to ask you. I've spoken to the press. I have nothing more to say. I've spoken to a lot of people myself and come to some conclusions. But then I realized I needed to hear it from you. Magnified Grimmeri. I have walked a difficult road these past 7 years. Because you couldn't perform Magnify's repertoire? Do not be deceived. Valant's skill is the real deal. I do not require my mentor's hand-me-downs. No, it was my partner who slowed me on the way. Zack Grimmeri. His rather well-performed disappearing act 7 years ago was the end. Or so I thought. Zack Grimeri murdered our mentor and fled to escape punishment for his crime. You said something to that effect 7 years ago, didn't you? I remembered it if it were yesterday. Yet that was not the way of it in the end. But while he vanished, the suspicions upon my own persons never did. His partner Zack vanished to protect him. That's what those thieving magpies of a press said. I had no idea. Yet that very same press comes to me now, feigning interest. They cover the greatest magic show in history as if it were a vaudevillian distraction. And here I must stand, smiling at them all. What am I, if not a player in some fiendish farce? Might I suggest it's because you never made it clear what happened? Magnify's death is still a mystery to this day. Which is why I came here to get the answer from you. I knew I'd be seeing this sooner or later. The audience has no business stepping upon the stage. They must be content to sit and stare at the spotlight. Sounds an awful lot like something I heard 7 years ago. Magnify's death. Ask what you will, you'll get nothing from me. I'm as much a part of this affair as you are now. I have to know what happened. For 7 long years, I have endured. Now finally the curtain lifts on my new golden age. All the miracles of our troupe, within my grasp. Sorry to do this, Valiant, but right now I need answers. I think I'll start by dropping a bit of a bomb. That should shake things up. Valiant, I wouldn't be so sure about those miracles. Not as long as I have this. And what might that be? I see it bears the Grimeri seal. I should have brought this to your attention sooner. I didn't imagine you'd be planning your comeback quite so fast. What is this? A document showing the true recipient of the performance rights of Magnify's miracles. What? Is that Grimeri? He wrote this? What? He passed everything to his daughter? Trucy Enigmar, actually. She's officially my daughter these days. Preposterous. Zack is gone. Vanished into the void. This is the genuine article. Zack was alive when he wrote this. Both myself and the notary can testify to this. What? Why does this fate toy with me so? Why must my life be lived in thrall to the deed? You're not the only one with that problem. But he shot Magnify. Yes, it was Zack, it was. And then he left. And my career as a magician fell into darkness. Did you think there might be some way out of it? Say, if you could prove Zack Grimeri shot Magnify, was that what you testified? Yes, my way out. It should have been my way out. Well, it might not be too late, Mr. Valiant. All you need is a way to prove your case. Who really killed Magnify Grimeri? I believe I have the answer to your prayers right here. Zack Grimeri wrote one more thing before passing on. But this is a confession, in which he admits to the killing of Magnify Grimeri. See? All according to your plan. I am a magician by trade. Deception is my life's work. I fool the audience, give them a fleeting dream. Yet, it seems the tables have turned. Now I am the audience, believing in the deceptions I have brought upon myself. Zack wrote this right in front of me. After I explained your situation to him. Alakazam, oh my god. It is my opinion that Zack Grimeri killed no one. Then you must be thinking the truth is a simple matter of elimination. True received instructions to kill, but one is innocent, and the other who remains is guilty. That would be the logical conclusion, yes. So he vanished to protect me as partner. A stirring tale, 'tis true. Did you shoot Magnify Grimeri in the forehead? If I had and I told you, what would you do? Run to the police, perchance? Do as you will. There is nothing left for me now. It is true, after all. I have little talent. I needed my mentor Magnify's repertoire. It was as if a little demon grabbed hold of me. I knew it. The Valiant Grimeri did kill the great Magnify. So sorry, Mr. Wright. But it was not I who shot my mentor. What? But if it wasn't you, then who was it? There wasn't another disciple, was there? Another disciple, such as, I don't know, Nakin Grimary, maybe? Your wild fancies couldn't be farther from the truth. Only Zack and Valent received those death-threatening letters. But there was another. One more person who could have fired that pistol that night. I don't suppose you've figured it out by now? It wasn't Zack or Valent who shot Magnify. Had to be the only person at the other scene. Which means... Wait. You don't mean... Yes. The great Magnify Grimary himself. So Magnify Grimary committed suicide? You find it hard to believe? To be honest, I hadn't even imagined it as a possibility. When I arrived that night, the old man was still alive. He appeared to be asleep. I could not shoot him. But when I turned and made to leave the room, the old man called out to me. So he spoke with Magnify Grimary. Yes, and this is why I knew what he had done. Magnify transferred the rights to his repertoire to my partner. Zack Grimary? I see. Then I guess I owe you an apology. I always thought you were the one who did it. You owe me no apology. Huh? My crime was, in a way, more serious than that of murder. What? Your crime? Zack Grimary confessing something to me? What could be more serious than murder? You see, I knew that the 2 letters had been sent. There are no secrets between partners. It was easy to find out. That was when I understood Magnify's plan. He wanted to die by one of your hands? Little did I expect it had anything to do with the rights to the repertoire. That was when I heard it. The little demon whispering inside my heart. The demon. Let me confess, I had intended to shoot Magnify. And I planned on framing my partner for the crime. What? That night I prepared something before going into the hospital room. Which was IV fluid, of course. I had seen it on an earlier visit. If Zack did not shoot, I would do the deed. Then I would use the IV fluid to place the murder on his hands. That was my plan. But you didn't shoot him. I could not.
The demon in my heart fled when the moment came. But then Magnify called me back. I am sorry, Valent. I am giving my magic to Zack, not you. You still lack the draw he has. Please, help him if you can. I left the room. And then I stopped. The shock of what I had just been told consumed me. That is when I heard that fateful gunshot. Magnify Grimary killing himself. Then the demon awoke anew within me. Zack killed him. He was the one. Frame him, and the magic will be yours. I altered the scene of his suicide. I took the pistol from his hand, wiped off the prints. Then I used the syringe to add IV liquid I'd brought. So in the end, things happened pretty much as planned. Magnify died and you framed Zack for his murder. As planned, indeed. Of course, the outcome was somewhat different than I had anticipated. Well, what do you think? You believe my story? Can it be believed? Truly? That was 7 years ago. I don't know what to believe. Yes? I'm glad I heard it from you, Mr. Valent.
Thank you. It is I who should be thanking you, Mr. Wright. Only when I had lost everything could I make my decision. You're gonna turn yourself in? My partner may have vanished, but not so my guilt. And as my guilt stays, all else begins to leave me. My friends, my performance rights, my magic. I've had enough of vanishing acts. I understand. I thought my life was ruled by a dead man. But I find I was wrong. For Zack Grimary was alive. Not anymore. And now it occurs to me. What if he was not the only one who survived? What do you mean? You see, now that I think about it, I realize that we never saw proof of her demise. We never saw her body. Her? The mind races and the mouth flaps on. My apologies. Forget this matter. I can only hope that the day will come that I meet again my partner Zack Grimary. Then I shall apologize for my terrible mistake. I am glad we had this chance to talk. Thank you. Zach Grameri, Shady Smith, whichever name you prefer, he is no longer with us. The truth revealed in that trial was only a sliver, and the impenetrable darkness that remained has taken over another life. I knew what I'd have to do to push back the darkness for good, and it would involve paying that man a visit. Oh, all we have left is see Kristoff. Sorry, sir. Prisoner Kristoff Gavin is currently occupied. I see. Do you know when he'll be finished? Oh. Could you go find out? Certainly, sir. Please wait here a moment. My apologies to the guard, but there's something I need to see. Yellow letter. There it is, the yellow envelope. And the sender is Drew Measham. I was right. When I arrived at the studio, Mr. Measham was at his desk. He seemed to be writing a letter, but he quickly sealed the envelope. It was a yellow envelope. I heard it was left at the crime scene. If this is the last letter that Drew Measham wrote, then there's something I need to do. The last thing I need to do, in fact. Here goes. Let's see if there's in Triquinine's where he finds anything. Yes! It's the stamp. So this was Drew Measham's messenger of death. It was this stamp, alright, no mistaking it. And his last letter was sent to Kristoff Gavin. The interview request came like you said it would, and they're looking into the case. I swear on my life I won't tell them about you, so please, release the spell you've put on my daughter. I'll write later with a report. Decisive evidence. What's this? A burglar in jail? Gavin, I didn't know you moonlighted into larceny, right? Gavin, there's something I have to ask you. Can I steal your stuff? The answer is no. My apologies, but there's not much I care to discuss. Vera Measham hasn't received her verdict yet. You follow me, Gavin? There are no known survivors of antriquinine poisoning, but it never hurts to hope. Okay, I'll be leaving now then. Right, wait. Yeah, Gavin? Would you mind leaving that letter? It's private. Oh, sorry. Forget I had it. Many thanks. It's a camera? We've now all seen all the clues in this case. Clues I've gathered over 7 long years. Now it is time. Every story has an ending. We've come to the final chapter, the final trial. Find the truth, you're the only ones who can. Guys, we're gonna be done with this game. We know the end. Welcome to court. 7 years, all leading to one verdict. A verdict which you must decide. Is the defendant Vera Measham innocent or guilty? The courtroom doors are opening. The trial awaits. Are you ready to begin? Courtroom number 3. Preparations complete. Something inside me. Rising, surfacing. something important, lost long ago. It's close now. So close. Court is now in session for the trial of Vera Measham. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Prosecution's ready to rock. Prosecutor Gavin, how is the defendant, Vera Measham's condition? Acute anthraquinine poisoning. According to her physician, she could die at any time. Thus, her absence from this courtroom today. What? They can't put her on trial without her being here? It is unusual. They should wait for her to get better and do it then. It's so bureaucratic of them. It's being a little harsh. They can't delay the trial any longer, or they risk having no one left to try. A trial without a verdict can only cause grief. The records of this case and experience tell us this. Apologies to the defendant, but the show must go on. Right, if Vera dies, the trial will be cancelled. I'm not going to let that happen. Mr. Wright told me everything that's been going on behind the curtain all these years. I'm going to get Vera her innocent verdict while there's still time. Very well. Your opening statement, Prosecutor Gavin. You're watching the Trials and Tribulations finale? Man, that Godot. The prosecution's case is unchanged by recent events. Why did Vera Measham succumb to poison? Because she couldn't live with the guilt of what she'd done. But Vera was poisoned with anthraquinine, the exact same poison that took her father's life. What better confession could you ask for? Being the killer, she would have access to the poison. Significant, since it's rather hard to come by. That is true. In other words, I see no need for further discussion. We could have had our verdict yesterday. Well, Mr. Justice, if you have no objections, I see no reason to postpone a verdict. What we need to worry about isn't the verdict, but the trial itself. The defense holds that Vera is the victim, not the killer. If that's so, then you have to prove something. She was in court, giving her testimony before us. How do you propose her killer poisoned her? Oh, and incidentally, it would be nice if you told us who her mystery killer was. The prosecution's objection is sustained. I ask the defense to prove its claims to this court. Tell us how Vera Measham was poisoned. Got two things to prove here. Who did it and how. What to do first? Let's just go how. How did the killer poison Vera Measham? I'll focus first on the method used. Any comments before we begin, Gavin? Not a bottle or container was poisoned and found in the defendant's body. I see. So the vector of poisoning is unknown. Is the defense prepared to prove how the poison reached Vera Measham? Yes, Your Honor. Very well. What method was used to poison Measham? Nail polish. What's this? My, what a beautiful bottle. I'd like to give whoever designed that a hand. Is that nail polish? It's colorless. Something the matter? No, nothing. Nothing at all. So the killer put poison in this bottle and made her drink it? As Prosecutor Gavin has told us, this is nail polish. Nail polish? It's like paint for nails. Know any women with red nails? My wife has red nails. I see. So she's been painting them all this time. What? You didn't realize they were being painted? Let's recall yesterday's trial. Remember when Vera was testifying to the court? Court is now back in session. Vera seems pretty tense. She's practically chewing her fingernails to clean off. Whenever Vera became nervous, she had a habit of biting her nails. Her nails. Prosecutor Gavin, when the prosecution had Vera examined, did they check her nails? Bailiff, have them check the defendant's nails at once. Mr. Justice. Yes? Do you know who did this? Do you know who put poison in that nail polish? Yes. That bottle belongs to Vera Measham? Why do you ask? Know someone else who might have a bottle like this? No. Just checking. Mr. Justice, you are about to accuse someone of poisoning that bottle of nail polish. Please dispense with the chatter. You realize the weight of this accusation? Here, let me show you. Understood, Your Honor. No problem. I know what I'm doing this time. And let us ask, who poisoned Vera Misham with via nail polish? What's this? Christoph Gavin? What's your game? My bro? There's no way he could do a thing like that. You should know better than anyone else. Indeed. He is behind bars. I know. However, that doesn't mean it wasn't possible to do what he did. What? Ask yourselves when he put the poison in the bottle. It could have been yesterday. It could have been a month ago. Maybe it was a year ago. Or perhaps it was 7 years ago. But Christoph Gavin had no motive for killing this poor girl. It's simply inconceivable. Prosecutor Gavin doesn't seem to think so. That face tells me one thing. Christoph Gavin's own younger brother doesn't find it inconceivable at all. Well, Prosecutor Gavin, you feel there is a clear and pressing need. Then we may have to summon Christoph Gavin from jail as a special witness. Fine. I've known for some time that an impenetrable darkness lurked at the bottom of this. A darkness that has swallowed even myself. Okay. The defense's wish is granted. Let prisoner Christoph Gavin take the stand. Bailiff, begin proceedings to call a special witness. The witness is Christoph Gavin, currently residing in Solitary Cell 13 at your central prison. Ah, Your Honor, how nice to see you again. It's been quite a while, hasn't it? To what do I owe the pleasure of your company? It's not every day I'm summoned from my solitary cell. In fact, it's never. I think you already know Mr. Christoph Gavin. Ah, Mr. Justice, I hear you've been doing quite well for yourself. Why do I feel like somehow he's still my boss? Lip, Apollo, you can do it. Does this bottle look familiar? Ariadne nail polish? Why yes, I use it myself. As did the last defendant I hear. She's not dead yet. And? Was there something concerning this bottle you wish to ask me? I admit I respect her for her taste in nail polish. Her taste indeed. This nail polish was how Vera Misham was poisoned. And triquinine, was it? You're well informed about the case, Mr. Gavin. Even in solitary, much comes to my desk, and I have nothing to do but read. Well, Clavier? Maybe you can explain this. You're being accused again. By him. Again. Ah, and? You agree with his accusation, do you? Let's hold a proper trial, shall we? Christoph Gavin, your testimony, please. I'd be delighted. The charges against you are quite severe, Mr. Gavin. You are suspected of the poisoning of the defendant, Vera Misham. Please testify on this matter to the court. The poisoning Vera. Owning the same nail polish does not a murderer make. I have been in solitary confinement for half a year. How could I poison her? Her father died of the same poison, meaning the meaning which should be clear. The prosecution's case holds. She poisoned her father, then attempted to poison herself. Surely you aren't going to suggest I was responsible for poisoning her father, too. Well, I'm afraid the defense's claim is sounding rather unlikely. Naturally. For I, for one, don't even know the Mishams. Isn't that so, Mr. Justice? Very well. Mr. Justice, begin your cross-examination. I'm accusing Christoph Gavin, my ex-boss. I know he poisoned the Mishams. The question is when he could have done it. Not to mention why. He messes with his glasses. So let's go ahead and watch. Let's watch his face. At the beginning of the game, I remember him having a smirk. A twitching smirk. Mr. Gavin, you're nervous about something. There is that finger pointing at me so rudely. And that desperate gleam in your eyes, it's quite disturbing, actually. Perhaps you have no faith in your own logic? Which is why you cling to your dubious power. Confident or not, I've come a long way, Mr. Gavin. Just a little more to go. I need a word. There must be some word that sends shivers down his spine. Where's the stamp? Wait, acrylic? Where's the stamp? There it is. Ah! Well, that wasn't the right time to present that. Make. How could you poison? Oh, yes! No, wait. Well, the thing is, I know. I just don't know where. I know how he did it. He did it with the commemorative stamp. How can I poison her? You can go ahead and say your guess, but I'm pretty sure I know exactly what it is. The envelope? No, the envelope, that's part of it, but you need, that's the stamp. I want to look at that again. I mean, I already know, but I want to look again. Okay, I'm questioning my ex-boss. His testimony seems watertight, but he's lying. I'm sure I'll be able to see something, as long as I focus. Okay, I'll go with you, Minnie. Nope. Has to be the stamp, but where? Yellow envelope. I want to press it. Madness ROM. Erupting. Jesus. Stam emulator. Nope. Final statement? Okay. Oh. Good job, me, spam clicking. That's not what I meant to press. You said yellow.